Good evening and thank you for being with us. We begin tonight with a dramatic escalation in Gaza as Israel and Hamas engage in some of the most intense fighting since the beginning of the war. And that fighting is taking place in southern Gaza, specifically around Khan Yunis, the city where Israel reportedly believes the remaining hostages are being held. It's been 4 days since that ceasefire ended that allowed nearly 100 women and children to be released. And tonight, the State Department says one of the reasons Hamas chose to end the truce and not release all the hostages is because the group doesn't want the women to talk about what is happening to them while in custody. Hundreds of protesters rallied today outside the United Nations, accusing its leadership of failing women. The UN did hold a special session to raise awareness about the use of sexual violence against women by Hamas. As fighting intensifies, the U.S. is urging Israel to create and obey no-strike zones so the nearly 2 million displaced Gazans have a place to go. CBS's Charlie Daggett is covering it all for us from Tel Aviv. Good evening, Charlie. So what about that message of safe zones? Is that getting to those in Gaza?
Good evening, Nora. Well, that is the central question. There's been a near complete internet blackout across Gaza. It means as Israel widens its offensive, residents there are unable to receive instructions warning them to evacuate further south. Now, we need to warn our viewers again tonight. Our report contains images some might find disturbing. Residents ran in terror as Israeli airstrikes bombarded southern Gaza, the very region they had fled to for their safety under order of Israeli forces. But Israel has now turned its firepower on the city of Khan Yunis, the home of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, where smoke from explosions and the crisscross of rocket fire filled the skies. 2-month-old Adnan fights for his life in one of the city's hospitals following an airstrike. We came here to the south just like they told us, his father says, and this is what we found. What can we do? Young Dalal told CBS News today how her family was forced to flee from Gaza City south to Rafah, where they now live in a makeshift shelter by the road. The Israel Defense Forces have now issued this interactive map outlining evacuation zones, which residents can access via a QR code. Not much use in neighborhoods struggling for electricity, let alone an internet connection. Somewhere in the midst of this raging battle lies the fate of at least 130 remaining hostages. Still unaccounted for, 8 Americans, like 19-year-old U.S.-Israeli citizen Itai Chen, whose parents are counting each day.
We do not have proof of life, even after 59 days.
His father, Ruby, told us his son, an IDF soldier serving in a tank unit, was among those taken captive on the morning of October 7th. He carries an hourglass to serve as a reminder that time is running out.
What's the first thought that goes through your mind in the morning?
You wake up and you get that slap in the face. You spend 18, 20 hours a day to find a way to get a chance to see my son and hug him again.
They're both now worried the renewed fighting might imperil the safety of their son.
You know, I'm just a mom that wants her son back home where he belongs.
And they were both deeply critical of the Red Cross for not pushing Hamas harder for access to the hostages, including their son, just to see if he's okay or even alive. Now, the president of the Red Cross visited Gaza today and called for the release of all hostages. Nora?
We're thinking of those families. Charlie Daggett, thank you.